Hello, we're going to talk today about some study habits that are going to help you out in the college situation, but really any type of situation that you're in regards to studying to be successful and to eliminate unnecessary stress and turmoil. So, these are some 10 study habits that I think are going to benefit you a lot. So, let's go through them here. Number one, research some of the feedback relating to the course that you're taking. Okay, go on the internet, see what's out there, try your best to have the most credible resources, and these are so you can better understand the most challenging aspects of the course. You will often see this reflected in feedback that indicates frustration or unfairness, and comments that are more straightforward in communicating difficulty, like this class is extremely challenging, for example. Identify key points that can help you brace for the most challenging portions of the course. And this research can help by helping you identify pitfalls which can make or break your success in the course depending on the stakes. So, depending on what program, what institution you're at, they're going to have different things that are going to be challenging and that standards that you're going to have to meet when you're taking the course. And these researching of the course can help out a lot with that. Okay. Two, get to know your professor. Each professor has their own idea about learning and how it should occur. Sure, they've been trained and all are inherently the same regarding the requirements of education, meaning that they went and they got their credentials to teach, and that means that they're all doing the same things depending on their occupational level that a teacher is supposed to do. They passed and they got their credentials to be able to do that, okay? And then you, as a student, you're successful in the exams, and that proves that their education is successful of you, okay? But there's a custom quality that each professor brings to the course that's unique to them. Get to know your professor and what their focuses are and what's important to them. The answers to these questions can help give you an edge and even enable you to anticipate test questions depending on how in-depth your analysis of their patterns are between the tests and who you know them to be. Developing positive rapport with your professor can have positive benefits that will ripple across many social spectrums, including recommendations or troubleshooting or grade rounding or test rescheduling or other perks that you can think of. The point is, getting to know your professor can go a long way. Also, in regards to like anticipating test questions and whatnot through getting to know your professor, that's likely to happen after the first exam because of course you're going to need to know how they're thinking in terms of that, and that can only happen after the first exam because you can think about questions that were brought up and the times in the class that the professor emphasized or seemed really passionate about, that kind of stuff. Number three, organize your folders, backpacks, etc. Ensuring that windows are set to open on your desktop, backpacks are organized, and notes and, of course, college books, both physical and digital, are queued and ready to go in short notices could go a long way. This is because the quicker that you can access your resources, the more time you can spend studying and managing and managing the challenging emotions that knowledge acquisition can bring. Okay, so what I mean by that is if you spend less time looking for things, you can spend more time studying, and learning already encompasses, can bring about or elicit emotion based on either a traumatic memory that's triggered by it or other things like that, and you can have more energy to go ahead and focus on managing those things as opposed to trying to find out where all your stuff is at, right? You want to do this before the semester start and pre-print any material that you'll be using on a regular basis to save time and effort during the semester. Also, from here you can identify where the main body of knowledge is that test questions and precise questions will be derived from, okay? So review the syllabus and identify key points including exam dates. Identify the deadlines and analyze the grading system. Input all the deadlines into the calendar so that you may be aware of them and prepare accordingly. They usually give you a course schedule, therefore this enables you to anticipate where your study focuses should be. And that primary body of knowledge, they're going to list where that is. That's where they're going to get the test questions from. And make sure you annotate the syllabus and make sure to look up what annotation is if you don't already know, because it's extremely advantageous in the educational setting to use that skill. Prepare your customized study plan with essential elements to schedule it. And those elements are bookmarking of the material, okay? So that's where you're going to go ahead and just bookmark. Make sure you have a tab on your book, in your digital book. Is it, if you don't want to use bookmarks, write down what page things are at so you can just easily reference them. Then you're going to want to take notes on the material from primary sources and then secondary sources if your class has them. Make sure to pause and look at these parentheses in greater detail. As I show you some tricks about how you can take pictures of the desktop and put them in a Google Doc, which is helpful, very, very helpful. And then you're going to have your homework, okay? And that's usually assigned in the course, and that's going to familiarize you with the material. And then you have your recall practice, and this is where most of the studying time should be acclimated, okay? That's where you're just saying, what can I remember off the top of my head? And you're focusing on what you believe is going to be on the exam, and you're going to need to answer your objectives or whatever if they're not presented. Like objectives or like what the expectations are. Usually they have those, what the course objectives or lecture objectives are. So yeah, you want to do your recall practice. Can you recall these things? Then you're going to want to do test questions and try to, if you don't already have access to, look up questions that are on the specific topic that you're going to be tested on. These are not new questions, see? So these are questions that are out there. You're not the first person to take this course, and they just change maybe in format, but they're the essential same questions. And if you can do test questions prior to the exam, you're going to be prepared. So make sure you're going to be doing these elements at a customized study schedule that works for you, okay? And you can flare this up from here however you want, because you are unique. The way that you study is unique, and as long as you have these elements, you will be successful no matter what study plan that you put forth. Now, create a links Google document for organizational access of things like your Reg E, your Canvas, your eBooks website, your this and that. That way it's all on one page and you don't have to fumble around when you're enrolling for courses, things like that, other things that can cause headaches and stress and undue challenges. Again, studying is hard enough, right? Save your notes in a long-term library. This is number 7. Save your notes in a long-term library for later use. You create a library because depending on the field you're studying, it may take a while and you will still be expected to know the information later down the line, I spelled that wrong, in your profession. Doing this as early as possible will enable the knowledge to build upon itself, or at least remain as a reference later on. Okay, so that's important. It's hard to do, but use Google Drive or Dropbox or whatever works best for you. Just make sure it's something that could last for a long time for you, okay? Form a group text with supportive classmates is your number 8 tip from me to you. Having classmates to speak to alleviates, another misspell, alleviate your anxieties and to go through these challenges with can create new bonds. It can also help with making sure that no deadline is missed, and when collaborative opportunities arise, you will already have your team, okay? So yeah, it's extremely helpful to at least pick a couple classmates you feel comfortable talking with, maybe the ones that first said hello to you when you came in, if it's your first time in class, things like that can be very, very helpful. Create study modes for varied situations is this tip number 9, very important. So there's your mobile studying station, your classroom study station, and your home study station, okay? So your classroom study station, this is your backpack, this is your tablet, your laptop. When you come in and you're setting up, how are you going to flourish in the classroom setting? How are you going to be gathering information in a quick fashion? Now, know that speed is more important than actually hammering down the information. You're not able to do so in that little of a time space. So organization is key. Maybe pre-prep studying if you really want to feel prepared, which is done at your home study station. Your home study station, that's where the main body of your studying is occurring. And this is where it has to be your total safe, creative study space. And it's just so important. And it should be braced to be used with technology, but also that old school pencil to paper. It has to have the space for that and still have the technology in order for it to be a prime study area. And then other things like whiteboards or what have you, to make it the ideal home study station. Take your time, create this. It's going to benefit you. Your mobile studying station is everything you can do on your phone/tablet, and that's what you're going to want to be doing a lot of your recall studying on and your test questions in the late stages of your study plan. So make sure that you're utilizing this. If you're in line for something, you have an appointment, or you're in a social obligation, you can study. I've even studied while previews of the movies are playing. Prior to the feature film actually playing while I'm out with friends. So it's very possible and very helpful, okay? Number 10, learning from your classmates. No matter how smart, prideful, etc. you are, no matter what qualities you bring to the table, there are people out there with things and methods that help them and have helped them get to where they are that you can learn from. So paying attention and just being friendly can go a long way. And these are your future coworkers too. And so you can learn these lessons, and you guys can you can teach them a few, and it can just go all the way around in a circle in a wonderful fashion. Okay. That's it. Bonus. Never give up until you have failed to achieve your passing grade. And that's not me saying give up if that happens. But as far as trying and putting forth your best effort, everything you got, every inch of quality into each and every assignment that you got until you got nothing left, that's what I mean. Don't give up till it's over. And the reason why is because you may be that student that passes by that 0.01%, and you're not going to want to set yourself back when that is something that can happen. It can happen to you. So as long as there's a chance, and even if it's small, even if it's impossible, keep going. I can give you an example where I was required to get a 94% on an exam in order to pass. 94% on my final exam was a requirement, and I passed. And had I given up because of the first 2 exams, I promise you, I would not be where I'm at today. So hopefully that lesson inspires you. Hopefully you can take that and do not stop until you have failed to achieve your passing grade. Then at that point, go to the drawing board and try again. Happy studying, guys. I hope you found these habits helpful, and be sure to reach out to me if you have any questions.